G'day gang, and how's it going? Welcome to Jensen's Journey of Discovery.
Why the fuck you lying? Why you always lying?
Alright, maybe it wasn't bang on 65. Today on Jensen's Journey of Discovery, we're going to be taking the knife that we've drilled the holes into last episode, and we're going to be heat treating it by normalization and then quenching it to harden the steel. Let's get started. Based on advice I read on a forum on the internet, I'm going to put this blade through 3 normalizing cycles before quenching it to harden. Time to pull the knife out and chuck it on the anvil. I'm using the anvil as a heat sink, essentially an object that transfers the heat away from another object. In this case, the large mass of the anvil draws the heat away from the knife, allowing the knife to cool quickly. For some reason I decided I wanted to brush off that scale. All I was doing is contributing to more scale being developed as the blade oxidized in the air. Jensen, you fucking muppet. Forged scale is formed when metals containing iron are heated and exposed to oxygen. This iron oxide coating often splinters off in sheets, forming an aesthetic similar to animal scales. Alright, maybe I pulled that last part out of my ass, but you get the idea. Through the magic of video editing, the steel is now fully cooled to room temperature. Abracadabra a la fucking Kazam. Wait, that doesn't seem cool. Struth, that's still 200 degrees. Probably need a bit more practice with this editing thing before I get it right. Fucking good thing though, is this oil is at the exact right temperature. That forum said that you want it bang on 65.
Why the fuck you lying? Why you always lying?
Alright, maybe it wasn't bang on 65, but with the help of this, by the time we're done with the normalizing cycles, it will be down to 65. Alright, think it's cooled down. Let's give it a zap, give it a little pat. Doesn't bite us, so it's good to go. Now that the steel is no longer hot, we can give it a brush to get rid of some of that scale, and new scale is not going to develop. And it's time to go back in the forge for normalizing cycle number 2. I'm just going to shuffle this around a little bit to make sure the steel's heating evenly. You might have noticed on the ground I've got a few bits and bobs. There to muck around a bit for some future projects, so stick around to see them. Saying see you later to the missus. I realise you're probably not interested in watching me do the exact same thing 3 times, so I've cut out the other 2 normalizations. Trust me, I did do them. And here we're going to do the quench. So a couple of important things to note when quenching. The steel has to be heated up above its critical temperature, which varies for different steel types. Once it's above the critical temperature, we rapidly cool the steel, and in this case I'm using canola oil heated to 65 degrees Celsius. You'll notice I'm guiding the blade forward and backwards, and pretty soon after dipping it in the oil, I'm checking for straightness. This allows any bubbles formed on the blade to be pushed off by the oil and ensures that the blade is cooling evenly. If the blade cools unevenly, it can warp and even crack. The reason I check the blade is straight so early is once the blade's fully hardened, any warps can pretty much only be ground out. If I catch the warp early, I can bend it back into place. Motherfucker, I see a warp. We've only got a small amount of time to fix that warp before the blade hardens. At this point I don't have a bench vise, which would be ideal, but I remember I had some vice grips underneath that table. Here I'm doing something incredibly stupid for my skill level. I'm trying to straighten it with no anchored point, meaning I'm completely free-eyeing it. I'm pretty sure doing this made the warp worse, but who cares? You live and you learn, and hopefully you cobbers learn from my lesson. It's about here I realised I fucked up, and I decided to just finish the hardening and hope for the best. It's like our DT teachers in school always told us, measure twice, cut once. Well, sorry Mr. I didn't fucking even measure once. What the fuck are you doing, you quit? It's already hardened. You might snap it if you do anything now. So as you can see, the warp isn't horrible, but it's still disappointing. This is the blade now that it's been normalized and quenched. That pattern looks pretty fucking sick. Thanks for tuning in to this episode of Jensen's Journey of Discovery. Please like, subscribe, abuse me in the comments, or whatever. I'm not your dad. Catch you next time. Jensen out.